which is a factor of 3a to the third plus 2a squared and 6a to the fourth plus 4a to the third. So we have to factor each one of the expressions and find the factor that is common on both. So one way of doing this is by understanding what 3a to the third power means. That means 3 times a times a times a, and 2a to the second power means 2 times a times a. And then we can see what they have in common. So you notice that they have two a's in common. So we're going to factor that out as the greatest common factor. So you can see that they have two a's in common, and that's a common factor, which is going to be a squared because there's two a's in common. And you're going to notice what's going to be left over, which is going to be a 3a plus 2. And we can do something similar to the second expression, because we understand that 6 can be written down as 2 times 3, and then a to the fourth is 4a's. And then 4 can be written down as 2 times 2, and a to the third is 3a's being multiplied together. And we can see what they have in common. They're going to have a 2 in common and 3a's, a 2 in common and 3a's. So that's going to be the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor is going to be a 2a to the third. So we're going to put that in the front of the parentheses. And then inside, we're going to be left with a 3a plus 2. So now you can tell that the common factor between the two is going to be 3a plus 2. So the answer is going to be letter B. A different way of saying this is by simply factoring the greatest common factor, which is undoing the distributive property. And you notice that a to the third and a to the second have two a's in common. And then when you distribute, you're supposed to add the exponents. So we keep the 3, and then we're going to keep an a because a has an exponent of 1, and 2 plus 1 gives you a 3. And you're going to keep a 2, so that when you distribute a to the second times 2, that's going to give you 2a to the second. And similarly, you can do the same thing with the second expression, because now you can notice that 2 is a factor of 6, and it's also a factor of 4. And they're going to have 3 a's in common. So 2 times 3 gives you 6. And since we already have 3 a's, we need one more. And then 2 times 2 gives you the 4. And since we have 3 a's on the outside, we don't need any more a's. In any case, we still end up with the same common factor of 3a plus 2.